Your current existence is a controlled chemical leak. Look at your skin. It is the texture of wet paper, a pale shroud over muscles that have forgotten the vibration of a real struggle. You are a biological unit trapped in a loop of high-frequency digital sedation. You wake up not to the sun, but to a glowing rectangle that immediately hijacks your dopamine centers, injecting you with a cocktail of news, trends, and outrage, designed to keep your pulse high and your agency low. You are breathing recycled, filtered air in a room made of cheap polymers and processed wood, a cage that smells like laundry detergent and stagnant energy. You are a predator that has been convinced it is a plant, rooted in a cubicle, growing in the direction of a flickering screen. Every choice you think you make, your coffee, your clothes, your opinions, is just a pre-programmed response to the environmental stimuli of the matrix. Your nervous system is a frayed mess of short-circuited pathways, burned out by the cheap heat of social validation. You are not a human, you are a data point, a resource to be mined by algorithms that know your fears better than you know your own name. Your life is a slow-motion biological surrender, a gradual fading of the life force until you are nothing but a memory in a server that will be deleted once you are no longer profitable. The system doesn't want your death, it wants your functional decay. Thousands of years ago, rebellion wasn't a post or a slogan, it was a physical necessity. Your ancestor, the sovereign hunter, existed in a state of perpetual biological rebellion. He rebelled against the cold by building fire. He rebelled against hunger by inventing the spear. He rebelled against the darkness by sharpening his senses until he could hear the breath of a predator through a stone wall. His hierarchy was honest. It was the law of the lung and the bone. There was no HR department to mediate his survival. If he was slow, he was eaten. If he was weak, he was forgotten. His sovereignty was earned in the dirt, the blood, and the frost. And you? You have traded that primal fire for a safety net made of razor wire. You are the diluted, filtered and castrated version of that power. You have been trained to fear the very thing that makes you an apex predator, your aggression, your solitude, and your refusal to be managed. You are a wolf that has been turned into a pug, gasping for air while waiting for a hand to feed you. To achieve a real rebellion, you must reinfect your DNA with the virus of the wild. You must treat your comfort as a tactical threat. You must see your conveniences as the chains they truly are. The supermarket is a cage. The office is a cage. The internet is a cage. To break the chains, you must first acknowledge that you are a prisoner of your own biology, which has been hacked to prefer the cage over the hunt. Reclaim the stone in your hand, or stay a domestic animal. Biological rebellion is the implementation of the anti-chew protocol for your autonomy. The system wants you to be predictable. It wants you to follow the best practices and community guidelines, which are just modern terms for the fence around the pasture. You must make your life indigestible to the matrix. This is the visual rage of the rebel, seeing the standardized life path, school, debt, job, retirement, death, and deciding to set it on fire. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for normalcy. Normal is a disease. Normal is the smell of a trash can in the heat. To be superior is to be abnormal. You must cultivate a persona of the saboteur, a part of your consciousness that deliberately breaks the habits the system gave you. If the system says rest, you train. If the system says buy, you save. If the system says speak, you stay silent. This is the collar of freedom. By imposing a stricter, harsher discipline on yourself than the system ever could, you become immune to its control. Most people are meat puppets who move when the strings of social pressure are pulled. You must cut the strings with the cold blade of your own will. You must become a ghost in the machine, someone whose actions cannot be predicted by an algorithm. The system cannot control what it cannot measure. Your time is the temporal noose, and the system is tightening it every day with entertainment and distraction. Every hour you spend watching someone else live their life is an hour stolen from your own expansion. I command you, initiate the total system purge. Your body is a biological fortress, and it is currently occupied by foreign forces. Your diet is a chemical trap. Your sleep schedule is a management tool. Your social life is a peer pressure grid. You must prune your life like a dead orchard. If a habit doesn't make you harder, faster, or smarter, it is a biological saboteur. Every pleasure that the system offers you is a lure on a hook. You must learn to love the hunger. You must learn to love the cold. You must learn to love the silence of being alone. This is the monolith strategy, standing singular and terrifying in your refusal to participate in the collective decay. You don't want to improve the system, you want to survive it. You don't want rights, you want power. The hierarchy of the future belongs to those who can disconnect from the digital hive and reconnect with the primal bone. Command, rebel in the blood or rot in the cage. Your current social identity is a digital prosthetic, a limb that doesn't belong to you, grafted onto your psyche to make you easier to track. Look at your digital digital footprint. It is a trail of slime left by a slug. Every like, every share, every search is a signature of your enslavement. You are a biological unit that has been convinced that expression is the same as action. It isn't. While you are busy expressing yourself in a sandbox controlled by billionaires, your physical body is undergoing a catastrophic failure. Your bones are losing density, your eyes are losing their range of focus, and your heart is beating with the frantic, weak rhythm of a trapped bird. You are living in a state of sensory deprivation where the only nature you know is a high-definition wallpaper. This is the visual rage of the modern slave, seeing your life force being converted into engagement metrics for a corporation that views your death as a statistical rounding error. You are breathing in microplastics and breathing out your potential. You are a resource-rich organism that has been taught to fear its own shadow. The air in your lungs is filtered by the same system that filters your thoughts, leaving you gasping for a truth you can no longer even describe. The Matrix doesn't hate you, it just finds you useful. In the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unchained, the rebel was the one who could survive outside the perimeter of the tribe's fire. Your ancestor, the sovereign outcast, understood that the safety of the group was a trade-off for his autonomy. He chose the cold, the hunger, and the danger of the deep forest over the comfort of a shared cave. He was a biological ghost, a man whose movements could not be tracked by the eyes of the weak. His rebellion was a physical manifestation of his primal grounding. He didn't need a manifesto. He needed a sharpened spear and a silent footfall. He understood that sovereignty is the ability to walk away from the table when the game is rigged. And you are terrified of losing your connection. You are terrified of the silence. You have been trained to believe that isolation is a punishment, when in reality, it is the only place where you can hear the frequency of your own will. To break the chains, you must relearn the art of the invisible man. You must decouple your biology from the social grid. A man who can live without the approval of the herd is a man the herd cannot control. You must treat your privacy as a military asset. If they cannot see your face, they cannot read your intentions. If they cannot read your intentions, they cannot predict your rebellion. The fire of the tribe is warm, but the dark of the forest is free. Biological rebellion is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your internal architecture. The system wants your rebellion to be aesthetic. It wants you to wear the rebel clothes, listen to the rebel music, and buy the rebel merchandise. This is controlled opposition, a way to vent your rage without ever actually breaking a chain. Real rebellion is silent, cold, and functional. It is the visual rage of the technician, seeing the standardized biological decay, the obesity, the brain fog, the chronic weakness, and deciding to become a high-performance anomaly. You must develop a clinical contempt for inclusion. Inclusion is just a polite word for collection. To be superior is to be exclusive. You must cultivate a persona of the virus, a part of your consciousness that infects the system with truth while remaining hidden. You must treat your education as a clandestine operation. Stop learning what they want you to know. Start learning the things that make you dangerous to them. Learn biology, learn encryption, learn the mechanics of power and the logistics of survival. This is the color of freedom. The more you know about how the cage is built, the easier it is to find the weak point in the bars. Most people are meat puppets who argue about the color of their strings. You must be the one who finds the puppeteer and cuts the hands. Knowledge is only power if the system doesn't know you have it. Your time is the temporal noose, and the system is using convenience to tighten it. Every app that makes your life easier is actually making your biology lazier. Every service that saves you time is actually stealing your ability to do for yourself. I command you, initiate the total autonomy protocol. Your body is a biological weapon, and it is currently rusted shut. You must perform a hardware reset. Stop eating their food, the chemical sludge designed to keep you docile. Stop watching their media, the hypnotic flickering designed to keep you dreaming. Stop using their logic, the circular reasoning designed to keep you confused. You must prune your life of digital parasites. If a device doesn't make you more capable of physical survival, it is a liability. You must learn to love the friction of the real world. You must learn to love the weight of the iron and the bite of the wind. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a physical and mental fortress that the system can neither bypass nor break. You are not a citizen of their world. You are a pioneer of your own. The hierarchy of the future belongs to those who can navigate the dark without a GPS. Command: disconnect the brain or surrender the blood. Your current psychological state is a hall of mirrors designed by a committee of predators. Look at your values. They are not yours. They are the leftovers of a feast you you weren't invited to. You are a biological system in a state of terminal compliance, deadly obedience. You have been conditioned to see your own power as dangerous and your own silence as suspicious. The Matrix has installed a moral firewall in your brain, a piece of software that triggers guilt every time you think about your own sovereignty. You are living in a state of chronic, constant self-censorship, looking over your shoulder for a judge that doesn't exist. This is the visual rage of the mental slave, seeing your own thoughts being filtered through the mesh of political correctness and social harmony. You are breathing in the toxic fumes of collective delusion, where the truth is offensive and the lie is compassionate. You are a resource-rich organism that has been convinced that its primary duty is to be nice, while the walls are being stripped bare around it. The air in your lungs is thin, devoid of the oxygen of reality, leaving you lightheaded and easy to lead into the slaughterhouse of the common good. The system doesn't want your soul, it just wants your consent to be processed. Return to the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unmapped territory. In the primal world, the rebel was the one who redefined the map. Your ancestor, the sovereign explorer, understood that the safe paths were the most heavily guarded. He rebelled by finding the anti-path, the route that was too steep, too cold, or too dark for the weak to follow. He understood that security is a biological trap, a scent used to lure the prey into a corner. His rebellion was a physical manifestation of his primal grounding. He didn't need a permission slip to cross the mountain. He had the strength in his legs and the air in his lungs. He understood that sovereignty is not a right, it is a physical fact. If you can stand on a piece of earth and defend it, it is yours. If you cannot, you are a tenant. And you are terrified of disrupting the flow. You are terrified of being cancelled by a crowd of anonymous cowards who couldn't survive a week without a supermarket. You have been trained to believe that your identity is a gift from the collective, when in reality, it is a cage they built to keep you visible. To break the chains, you must relearn the art of strategic withdrawal. You must take your value off the market. A man who wants nothing from the system is the only man the system cannot threaten. You must treat your energy as a sovereign currency. If they cannot tax your mind, they cannot fund your enslavement. The collective is a parasite. The rebel is the cure. Biological rebellion is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final expansion. The system wants your rebellion to be performative. It wants you to shout in the streets so it can take your picture and put you in a database. Real rebellion is a biological stealth mission. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the standardized death, the medicalized, supervised, and taxed ending, and deciding to live on your own terms. You must develop a clinical contempt for belonging. Belonging is just a code word for ownership. To be superior is to be singular. You must cultivate a persona of the monolith, a part of your consciousness that is immovable, unshakable, and completely opaque to outside observation. You must treat your survival as a high-stakes engineering project. Stop relying on their infrastructure, their power, their water, their information. Build your own. This is the color of freedom. The more self-sufficient you are, the less the system's threats matter. Most people are meat puppets who panic when the lights go out. You must be the one who owns the dark. You must be the one who finds the master switch of your own life and flips it to manual. Freedom is the ability to say no and survive the consequences. Your time is the temporal noose, and the system is using stability to tighten it. Every benefit you receive from the system is a hook in your flesh. Every guarantee is a chain. I command you, initiate the final imperative. This is the tax of insight. You have been given the blueprint for the great escape. To keep it, you must execute it. You must become a living anomaly. You are no longer a unit of production. You are a sovereign operator. You must perform a total life audit. If a person, a job, or a thought pattern keeps you tied to the grid of the weak, it is a biological saboteur. You must prune your life with the collar of discipline. You are building a fortress of results in a world of excuses. Your rebellion is the physical proof of your biological leverage, a monument to the fact that you stopped being a good boy and started being a great man. You do not wait for the system to collapse. You build the world that replaces it. The hierarchy of the future belongs to those who can breathe underwater while the rest of the world drowns in the shallow end of its own lies. Command: break the code or be the code.